Hello and welcome to FTB Sports. This is our second episode of our new show, Talking Points, where we have a bit more of a controlled viewpoint of all things Spurs, but particularly the night after, the day before, whatever you want to say. So yesterday we played Man City, and you may have seen a lively debate with some of our guests yesterday, but now it's a bit more of a controlled, hopefully, discussion about a few talking points from the game. I'm joined as always by Mike and Darius. Welcome. How are we doing?
Yeah, not too bad.
What can I say? Just, not too bad. It's probably the perfect way to put it.
I'm still getting over the video of Sanchez.
We were discussing the Sanchez video. I don't know if he's going to recover from that one. I think that's going to live with him for the rest of his career.
It's
just too funny.
It's
Man
one of the
City
funniest.
TikTok, even the official Man City TikTok taking the piss out of him. It's not nice. You don't like to see them ones.
There's one picture. There's loads of pictures, but there's one where he's like, they've got it from above, and he's Gundogan's just putting the ball in the net, and he's on the floor, and it's like he's dead. He's like he's been just laid in.
Sniped. Literally sniped.
Sniped.
Oh dear me! I feel for him.
Is that one of the talking points? My God.
No, we can't. I can't do that to him.
No.
I've already vilified Sanchez enough, but there's no more we can really say. After that, I don't think there's any more you can say. There's just no more. The picture says it all. The picture says it all. So
it's just non-stop banter with that, isn't it?
I think it's the best one. The Tierney one was good. The Boateng one was good. I've seen a good couple of ones, but this one is absolutely the best one. And there's going to be some music. I've not seen anything with music against it yet, but I'm sure there will be somebody who's going to put together something with music. And anyway, let's get on to this. So yes, lively debate
Daily Sanchez
yesterday.
slander aside.
Lively debate yesterday, lads, and it was really good with our fellow fans and obviously Ian, Blue Moon Ian, Jose out Ian, whatever he wants to call himself. He came on and had a bit of a crow, but that's fine. We live to fight another day, and we always have to go and fight another day as Spurs fans. So I'll put the first talking point up. Super City or sour Spurs? Darius, you want to take that first?
How do I explain this? So I don't think it's either. And it's hard to say that, but I think it was kind of Super City were good City and sour Spurs were kind of like tangy Spurs, where they weren't on the spectrum of being that bad, and City weren't on the spectrum of being that good. It was kind of like in the middle of each. I don't think we played terrible, and I don't think we played good. I just think quality-wise, when you have that sort of opposition between each other, you kind of have to look at the team with better quality, and City had the better quality. And at the end of the day, when you have players like Gundogan, who was in the form of his life, playing football on the front foot, putting pressure on our players, they're going to score a goal. So I think it was neither, but City are going to obviously edge it when you're playing like City do and we play the way we do. We're not going to create many chances. So yeah, I'd say neither, but I'd say City were better, obviously.
Okay. Mike, you think it was a bit of a case for Spurs being very sour, average, or was City by far the better team?
I think the only difference between the two teams was the fact that City were clinical, because other than that, was there much in the game really? They just had a better defense.
It was individual mistakes, like we
it was
said,
just
wasn't
individual mistakes. Yeah, it was. It was purely just individual mistakes, and that, again, that's just what cost us. And I looked back at that the Højbjerg penalty, and I think that was harsh, because if you look at it closely, I think Højbjerg gets tripped up, and then he stumbles over and brings down the opposition. I can't remember who it was he brought down.
It was Gundogan, wasn't it?
Was it him?
Yeah,
and it, yeah, I think that penalty was a little bit harsh myself, but
yeah, there's a few people saying that. There's a few few pundits also saying that they thought the penalty was harsh. Marlon was definitely saying that yesterday. He was saying,
I personally, I think it was a penalty. I think once that centre middle, once the attacker takes that cut back, I think as soon as you make contact with the player, even if he does put his foot on the player necessarily, he's cut back and you're in the box. I just think those decisions are always going to go towards, especially with VAR when you're zooming in. It's just, I think it's going to always go towards the attacker.
Did it go to VAR though? I can't even remember.
No, it didn't go to VAR.
So why? Again, you could question why didn't that go to VAR? Because I don't know. I think I'd say I watched it a couple of times, and I honestly think that was hard. That was a harsh penalty. I think the trip was on Højbjerg before he commits the foul as such. But I mean, take that away, it was just a more clinical City, really. Although you could argue those 3 goals, gifts.
They were gift wraps.
They were just gift, and that was basically what it boiled down to. It was just City gift wrap 3 goals, and otherwise you might have found it a completely different game, and it might have been a bit of a stalemate. But
I'll give you the stats. We didn't do the stats yesterday. We were that much into discussions. We didn't even get to the stats.
Not even on our thoughts.
Stats yesterday, City first. So 60% to 40%, shots 15 to 7, shots on target 6 to 3, corners 4 to 2, fouls 12 to 13. So I guess possession-wise, not as much as I thought possession-wise for City.
Sorry, what was that possession again?
60%. 40% to Spurs. So I think mainly because of the fact that they'd scored the goals and they maybe just sat back and it was a bit of a passing drill after a while. And then we did do a little bit more when Ali and I guess Bale came on. There was a bit more impetus from us, but the game was probably out of reach by then anyway. So it was a real. I think you're right in what you said, Darius. It wasn't like City were super by miles. We weren't as bad as a lot of people are making out. I look at the game in phases. We had a goodish start. You know, Harry Kane hit the crossbar, post, whatever it was, and you know if that goes in, maybe it's a little bit of a different game. But as you said, individual mistakes cost us. So we have to again look at certain things within the setup of the team, some of the individual performances, and maybe that takes us on to our next point. Then, Jose or the players? You want to start with this one, Mike?
What's the question behind this?
So
Jose,
I was going to ask if it's season award just based on this Man City game.
We're gonna talk about this game, but you can open up if you want. But based on this game, a lot of people are saying Jose hasn't got the players. The players weren't playing for him. There's a lot of Twitter rants about Jose needs to go now. He's not playing attacking football. We're playing against City. I look at it as being City, the 16th game on the trot that they've won. And they've beaten people quite convincingly. They've not conceded a goal at home in, I think it was 7 of those games in terms of league games. So it was going to be an uphill task. So it's really more about the game.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose when you look at that on the season itself, that's a different topic altogether. So just on this basis, on this game, I think the players were trying for Mourinho. I don't think they weren't. I just think the Man City were just, as I say, just more clinical. And I think also, given that we'd played 120 minutes on Wednesday, you could see towards the latter stages of the game, we just looked a bit tired towards the end.
Tired and deflated. I think that was
but I don't think Mourinho's lost the players. I think the players are still there. They're still trying. You can see that. I think you can see after the game, Mourinho's sort of making a conscious effort to sort of when the players are coming in to sort of. Well, I don't know. It's a pat on the back, isn't it? Say, look, come on, chin up type scenario. I would have thought, but yeah, I think he's still got the players. I don't think the players are not playing for him. I think they are. They just got to take that defeat on the chin. Just be like, 15 other teams have lost. Let's just move on. You can't dwell on that sort of game. They're going to probably the likelihood is they're going to win the league. Let's be honest. And 3-0 in the grand scheme of things. It's not an embarrassing. It's not an embarrassing result, is it?
Sanchez.
So, well, but
sorry.
Yeah.
We can't do this anymore. We really shouldn't be doing this anymore.
But I mean, So I think Jose's still got the players.
Okay, Darius, is it a case of the blame lies on the players or Jose for yesterday's defeat?
I will personally say the players for the Man City game, because, and the only thing I can, again, it's City. You're right in what you're saying. We're not going to go and push City and play like Leeds played against them. We're not going to do that. So I'm not expecting, even if we were with Poch, and I know Poch would have taken it to City, but even if we weren't to play that style with Poch and he decided to choose to play more defensively, I wouldn't mind that, because looking at the team and looking at your opposition, it makes more sense. And it almost worked to our advantage, I guess. We could have scored the free kick. Things could have happened. We could have maybe dealt with it. The players for me, so that's Jose aside. That's the only thing. So sorry. The only thing I can say on Jose is his substitution was Ndombele coming off. I think that was maybe the only critique I can give him, because it didn't really seem like we could break lines when he wasn't on the pitch. And there was still space for City, especially Rodri when he was pressing high. There was still space to exploit behind him, just in front of those centre backs. So I think maybe keeping Ndombele on. I know Ale had to have half an hour, maybe not had to have half an hour, but he got given half an hour to kind of get into the game. And if he had come on in 85, he would have complained. So I understand, but I just think that Ndombele would have made a difference. And yeah, that's Jose's side. On the players, really quickly, I think the players take the blame because the quality, and I've seen Lucas and Lamela, and I don't know if this is because of the pressure that was put on them by the City players, but Lucas and Lamela seemed like very, very agitated and fidgety when the ball came to them. They didn't seem like they were composed when the ball came to them. It seemed like Lamela would run 5 yards, not really look, and then play the ball back. There wasn't any sort of structure to how they played. When they played West Brom, and I understand West Brom would falling back and dropping off, but they decided to take the ball to them. Lucas, for that second goal that Son scored, he really drove at them. I didn't really see Lucas do that and take the ball into any space. So I'll say that the players, I don't know if it was the quality of the players that were on the pitch, but I just don't think the players were good enough. They weren't not working for Jose. I don't discredit that. I think they're still working for Jose, but I just don't think they were good enough on the day.
Yeah, on the day, they weren't good enough. We've been crying. I'm not crying. I say Lamela has played well in the last few games that he's been appearing in, but you can see his limitations. He holds onto the ball far too long. When you're against a team that really presses you hard, like what City do or did, you can't really hold on to the ball for a length of time. There's a few things on Twitter as well. I've seen a couple of screenshots where people are showing we were in really good positions and Lamela had the ball and there was Son. It was almost like a real good through ball. If he'd have played it, Son was on goal. You might have to look out for that. There's things like that that's being going around. So, yeah, it's the quality of the opposition that I think really put some of these players back into the level that we know that they are. You know, 100%. We kind of saw that, you know, Lamela and Lucas really made some big efforts against the likes of West Brom, and in the game against Everton as well. That was a topsy-turvy game. So both teams weren't great defensively, but you can see that City are a level above them. And it showed. It really did show. And it doesn't help when you make the mistakes that we did. Some real bad errors from players, individuals, as we've talked about, the likes of Lloris, Hojbjerg uncharacteristically, but that's coming to his game the last couple of games. So I'm just hoping that the rest will do him good before the game on Thursday. We've got a couple of comments here. So Solo, 1979, Herlock, good evening to you. If you do not win a trophy this season, do you see Harry Kane looking for a new challenge in the summer?
I just don't think he can. I think financially, unless the team brings 120, 150 mil, and again, I wouldn't actually, not that I wouldn't mind it, but if we got given that much money for Harry Kane, I'm not going to be angry at that. So I don't think Harry Kane's going to be able to force his way out of the club.
I don't think he will either.
Yeah.
I think he'll be chasing that Jimmy Greaves.
I think
record.
he would, yeah, 100%.
It's
only 50 goals away now,
yeah, exactly. So he could probably do that by the end of next season, and then if he wants to go,
I think we've got 2 more years of Harry Kane. I still think we've got 2
so.
more years of him.
Yeah.
Another comment here from Solo. As a United fan, I would blame Jose. His style of football is outdated. What do you guys think of that?
Oh. We've gone over this. We've mentioned this many times.
It's beating old horse, isn't it? Yeah. It's not that it's outdated, because I think I made a point very early on. No, I didn't make a point, but I noticed very early on, about October, November time, a lot of teams have started to kind of deploy a more defensive style of football, maybe to go along with the injuries in these teams. And I'm thinking that these teams are kind of getting praised for it sometimes. Like Leicester, when they went through a few bad injuries, and they managed to do quite well with their injuries. They played 3-5-2, and they were very defensive, and they played off the counter quite well, very similar to how we did. And they were getting applauded. So for me, I just think people, and I didn't agree with this at the start. And I know, Mike, you've been mentioning this quite a lot. I do think the media have something against Jose, and I think they don't like to see him do well. And I think that is a reason why they're going to constantly keep bashing on about this defensive football. Even when we were top of the league in November, they still bashed on about this football. So I just think it comes with Jose Mourinho as the character that he is, as the man that he is. I just don't think they're going to let him up. He'll have to play like Bielsa for them to ever stop talking about it.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a cultural thing here in the UK. People don't like Jose's, I guess it's his arrogance. I don't really class it as arrogance. I just think he's very confident in his ability. He came into this country and he deemed himself the special one. And from that point, you could see people like, hold on a minute. We don't do that sort of thing. We don't go over the top and say we're that good. But he's proved it. And that's the point. He has proved it. But now he's going through what some would say is a little bit more of a difficult period. I just think with the players that we've got, he's not able to maybe utilize the style to the best effect. And maybe with certainly, I think with a better defense, you might see a little bit more, probably less defensive tactics employed against lesser teams, as we talked about yesterday. But I still think the sort of football that was played against the likes of Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, I think you have to employ those tactics if you know that you don't have a superior outfit. And I don't think we have got the superior outfit.
You just hit the nail on the head there. Those are the tactics you employ to win a game if you feel you've got an inferior team, or if you know you're not going to have much of the ball because the opposition are very much possession based, then why wouldn't you set yourself up to be counter-attacking? You'd be silly not to. So yeah, and that, I mean, every fan says that, or every opposing fan says that, and that's what it's water for ducks' backside.
It is a bit boring now. I complain about the football, but again, you complain about something, but you know it's not going to change. So why keep moaning about it? It's Jose Mourinho.
Yeah.
We know what he's here to do. We know what he does.
And I still don't go along with this thing that Jose doesn't play attacking football. I believe he plays tactical football. I mentioned this yesterday. Tactical football is about knowing who you're playing, what's their weak points, what's their strengths, how can you beat that? Yeah. So he employs that. But with the limited, not I say limited, we have got a good squad, but there are players that aren't quite at that level that we need to make a real challenge for a continuation of the top four and challenging for the league. I think we've got a good enough squad for a cup run, and I hope, obviously, we've proved that by getting into the League Cup final. Let's see if we can do the same in the Europa Cup. But I'm not one who's gonna say, "Oh, Jose doesn't do this." We've had some games where there've been real stinkers. Let's not get away from that fact. And we might question some of the substitution, we might question some of the starting lineup, but there might be reasons behind that. And I think for me, the Everton game really proved it. Proved it.
I mean, very, very quickly, you could argue that every team has had a real stinker. I mean, you look at Man United. They lost to Sheffield United and they only drew, what was it, 1-1 last night?
Drew today?
Today, sorry. Yeah. Well, so every team's capable of a right stinker, aren't they? So again, it's
always going to be difficult to break a team down that plays like us or that plays like West Brom. If you have two banks of four, no matter who the player is, and it's been proven because, like I said, we had the best defense in the league at one point, and I haven't checked now, but I think we're still in the top 5 defenses in the league.
I think we're fourth.
We're fourth. And if you said to me at the start of the season, Jose Mourinho is going to have the 4th best defense, even though it's Jose Mourinho, he's going to have the 4th best defense with Sanchez, a brand new Rodon, a 31-year-old Alderweireld, and Eric Dyer, who's not even a centre back.
Yeah, you take that.
I have to give him credit for that. I do have to give him credit for that. I will say that having the 4th best defense and having on average one of the best defenses in the league with those 4 centre backs is something to be proud about. And I think that's why he's had to play that sort of style. So again, I can understand it.
Let me just also give you this, and this is what puts it into a bit more of a context. We have been slipping a bit. We have had the results go against us. We're now in 9th place. We've got 36 points. It is awful at the moment. However, on 36 points, we are 9th. If you go up to 4th in the table, 40 points is where Liverpool are. We are 4 points behind Liverpool, and we have a game in hand. We have one game in hand over Liverpool. So, win that game in hand, theoretically, all the rest of it. There's a couple of other teams that maybe got a couple of games in hand above us as well, but not too many. So I'm looking at West Ham, 23 games on 39 points. Everton, 21 games, 37 points. Villa, 22 games, 36 points. So, all this talk about it's over, it's no, we're not. Top 4 is really still on. Top 4 is still on by a long way. And it is just going to need to get over what we've got. And I think now it's a case of, right, we've played a lot of these teams twice, or it's certainly gone through a bit of a, Liverpool, Chelsea's, we've still got Man United to come again. But and Arsenal, we've played a lot of teams now. So we can maybe look forward to a little bit more of a, not easier, because it never gets easy in the Premier League, but certainly more winnable game, shall we say, on paper.
Yeah.
Just one more comment here. Solo again. At United, he had the players, but he chose not to play attacking football. He's defensive minded. I don't know if he was completely defensive minded at United. I just don't. Again, he didn't have the players.
I don't think he had the players.
But he was successful. He won trophies. So I don't.
Correct.
Again, I just don't get.
But again, it's Man United, so obviously I understand that Man United fans don't see that Europa and Carabao as that. God, sorry.
What they winning under Ollie? They haven't won anything.
Oh, that's the thing. That's the thing. But I understand. Again, I understand why Man United fans who miss Jose say he won us a trophy, so I'm put up with it. I understand why Man United fans who say they don't miss Jose, because the way that Ole's playing is much more appealing to watch. You can get behind your team more. But at the end of the day, you have to look at it and think, what do you want from your club? Do you want to enjoy watching your team play, or do you want to see your team lift trophies? And for me,
the answer is both. If the answer
that's
is both,
what everybody wants, exactly.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, for me as a Spurs fan, and I'm taking this as only from a Spurs perspective because I am a Spurs fan. I can't speak for other fans. I don't support those teams. But as a Spurs fan, at this moment in time, I want to win a trophy. And I said earlier on, the way that he's playing the Carabao isn't worth it. But a trophy, like you said, will give us momentum to do something else. At the moment, the reason I'm not even nervous, but the reason I'm a little bit skeptical now is because I'm not seeing the progress in the team, and I'm not seeing any chance of us winning the trophy, which is why I'm nervous. But who can tell? We're not predictors. We can't tell the future. That game at City in April could be completely different. We could win that game, we could lose that game. We don't know what's going to happen. So I think we have to take things as they come along.
And that might depend on our last talking point for today. Case for the defense. Now, against City, I think although City weren't running riot against us, they were comfortable in possession. They were comfortable, being able to force mistakes out of us. Our defense has been culpable for a lot of mistakes recently, and going into games where the confidence is low isn't going to help. So what is the case for the defense? Who wants to take that one first?
I'll let Darius.
So I'm struggling to find a case for the defense. I do think Jose has helped them with the way that he's played to kind of not leak as many goals. I think that we don't have a partnership of the four that are solid 100%. I think our best partnership would probably be Alderweireld and Rodon, I would say. But even then, they're not a top four challenging centre-back partnership, in my opinion. And the quick stat that I had was something crazy, like 87% of our goals conceded under Jose have come from individual errors or set pieces. So again, if you've got statistics like that, it's hard to make a case for the defense, because Jose, like we said, Jose can set out a team as many times as he wants in any way that he wants. But if you've got Davinson Sanchez doing 360s as a last man, and you have Lloris with Butterist basically not saving chances that we should expect him to save, I struggle to get even more angry at Jose. I do struggle to get even more angry at Jose, and I do find it hard to make a case for the defense. So that's my point on it. That's my standing.
Mike?
Yeah, I think Darius has probably hit the nail on the head with that. The only thing that I would add to that is Rodon and Toby. If they had consistent games together, starting, etc., had a run of games together, then we don't know if that centre-back partnership could be something that we need at the heart of our defence. And without trying, again, you'd have to give them a good handful of games to see what they're about as a centre-back partnership. But
centre-back partnerships take so long to gel. It isn't a quick thing, isn't it?
No, this is it. And the fact of the matter is, we've chopped and changed our centre-back pairing quite well. Yeah, pretty much every other game, haven't we? And you can't build anything. A centre-back partnership can't be built on the odd game here and there. It's just, you'll never gel.
Do you think we should maybe concentrate on a back three in terms of centre-backs and possibly go with that for a few more games than we've done it this season?
No, I quite like the back four that we had or play, should I say. I think it gives us more balance. The formation that we've been going with for the last 2 or 3 games, I think the balance, we've got the balance right. It's just the centre back pairing, the goalkeeper. It's just individual mistakes that are costing us. But if we keep that that same formation lineup, and as I've mentioned with the Everton game, if we keep that same team, because I think the balance is, I think Mourinho's found the balance, give or take, with the team. It's just cutting out these individual errors, which he can't train a professional football player to cut out the errors. I mean, it's just something that you either sort of accustomed to and you've got it in your locker, or you're that type of player who obviously doesn't make those costly errors. And
I think you're right. I think for me, a back three could work, but the only way a back three could work for me is a 3-4-3, and I think Davis would have to play as a left centre back, because that would allow us to play with Reguilon and Aurier as your fullbacks. You've got Ndombele and Hojbjerg in that middle, and then obviously when we push forward, Hojbjerg can cover that centre back position. Davis can push out. We still have that 4.
But the only problem with that is you've got no pace in that back three, have you? So no. I mean, and this is where you'd end up having Sanchez, because
you'd have to, yeah. So and then there'd be less in the middle as well. I understand. I think the 4-2-3-1 works. I just think
I think it works.
It's the right centre back partnership we need to get, and then I also believe that I really don't think Davis can play in that 4. I don't think.
But he wouldn't, though, would he? Because if Reggie's fit, we all know he's starting above.
And I also think Sessegnon will also next season start above Davis, because I think Jose Mourinho has realised now we have to have 2 attacking fullbacks. In my opinion, we have to have 2 attacking fullbacks. We can't do what we did last year, where we had 1 fullback drop in and 1 fullback pushing on. It just creates imbalance, and it doesn't work.
Yeah. So we've got another game on Thursday. So the good thing from the players is that they have a few days of rest. I know that the word was that they were going to have a day off today. So, at home with the family. And then I guess back to it tomorrow in preparation for the game on Thursday, which is away at Wolfsburg. They called RZ.
Are they Austrian? Are they an Austrian team? I can't remember.
RZ Pellets WAC or WAC, whatever that is. So they're Austrian. It's going to be interesting to see that, because Rodon can't play in that game. He's not in the Europa squad, which is crazy in itself. We've got one more comment here from Hamza. Guys, I think that Sanchez isn't that bad of a centre back. I fancy him.
Take him.
Fancy him? Wherever you play, Hamza, you take him with you. We might even give you a little bit of taxi money as well. You know what I mean? I'll call you before you if you want. I guess we've done the old Spurs yesterday, the old Spurs meltdown, as I like to call it. But there's still a lot to play for. There's a lot of doom and gloom when we lose, and particularly in the manner that we lose. And I guess with the performances that we've had, it's not been very nice to watch. And I guess that has also sharpened people's opinions as to what the manager's doing, and the Bale situation, and a lot more other things, which probably doesn't help. So we just need to get through this period now. As I said, a few days rest. Let's get a good result against Wolfsburg away. Then look forward to the game against West Ham on Sunday.
And I need a win in that game. I'm not reliving what happened earlier on that season. I want them washed.
Where is it being played at?
It's at the Hammers, whatever their ground's called, the Olympic Stadium, whatever.
Yeah.
So yes, there's plenty to play for, gentlemen. Plenty to play for. We have to keep the faith. We have to stay positive. It's difficult at times. I'm fully behind the manager. I'm fully behind this season to see what we can achieve. We've still got competitions to achieve. And when you look at the table, top 4 is still a possibility. We need to play well to make it, because there's a lot of teams in between us, and and not all them teams are going to fall out of it. So it's going to be a bit of a tough one. But getting the players back, a number of players, key players, we get them back, keep everybody fit. That's going to be the key thing now, is keeping certain players fit for, I guess, this run in the last 16 games of the Premier League season, and then obviously the latter stages of the Europe, which I hope we're going to be in up until the final, where we win that final. Talking Points episode number 2 is done. Thank you very much, guys. watching out there, please like, subscribe, share, comment. Road to 500 subscribers. You'll be entered in a free draw to get a football shirt of your choice. Name and number on the back, etc., etc. Links all in the description below. Look out for this show again. Will be episode 3. We might branch out into various other topics, but at the moment we're concentrating on a bit more of a calmer post reaction of the game, which I think we were that today. It seems a lot calmer. Right then, it has been a good one, gentlemen. As per usual, we will go out again. Hope to see you all very soon for the preview shows and reaction shows later on this week. And everybody, as I said, keep watching, keep subscribing, and keep looking out for FTB Sports. Thank you and goodbye.